Mhm. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today. Really appreciate everyone hopping on. Yeah, it is 1 p.m. Eastern right now. I think some of you may be joining from other time zones. So, good morning if you're in the Pacific Coast or if you're in other countries. Not sure what that time zone is, but yeah, thank you for making the time. Today, we're going to showcase something really cool that we've been building. Basically, how to use agents and agentic workflows to handle your research process from end to end. So, for a bit of time, we had released our MCP so that you can run analysis on your research insights, but we've enhanced those capabilities so that you can actually create, plan, and run your research directly with the help of agents as well. So I'd love to showcase some of those workflows to you as you're going through this webinar today. And as always, feel free to ask questions. Feel free to stop me if there's anything that you like that is unclear or you like, covered in more detail. But let's give it maybe 30 more seconds so that other people can hop on as well, and then after that we will proceed with the webinar. Um, yeah, let me just load my slides here. Okay. So yeah, why don't we get started? So today the topic is running agentic user research. Agents have been the hottest topic in tech um, uh, in the recent weeks and months, and it's crazy how fast things are moving. We released our MCP not very long ago, and it's been really astounding the pace at which we're able to continue to strengthen our MCP capabilities, and also how agents have continued to dominate as the most important hot topic and B2B software and user research and any field that touches technology. So today I'm going to show you how we can plan, build, recruit, and analyze with the help of agents powered through Hubble's MCP. The background is that user research isn't a single job. It's six different handoffs, the way we think about it. And every stage currently in the status quo lives on a different screen. Yeah, for those of you that just joined, we were just going through some background information and like how research works right now and how agentic research can transform some of those steps. So basically, if you think about a typical research project, there's some planning involved, right? You get the stakeholders involved. There's designers, PMs, researchers, and then you go through the planning process to think about a discussion guide. What are the questions that you need answers to, and how are you going to execute on that plan? Then you build the research. You use a tool like Hubble. You go on a platform to actually put together a study, depending on the methodology. And then after you build the study, you put all the parameters in, you then launch the recruitment. And this can be, internal user recruitment or an external user recruitment. And then after that, I put moderate here because we're going to showcase a moderated study in this particular webinar. But it can also be just inviting participants to complete tasks on their own time if it's an unmoderated study or a diary study. Then after you get the insights, you run through the analysis and come up with themes, quotes, interesting qualitative insights that you're able to distill from that data. And then after that, you proceed to sharing the insights through a report or slides. So before Hubble's MCP, everything, just observing from some of our customers' workflows and also what we've seen in the industry, everything is fragmented, right? The planning process happens on Word. And some people use Notion. There's Confluent. There's different types of documentation platforms where people collaborate with stakeholders and other parties, so to be able to actually come up with a study plan. So things are pretty fragmented. It's hard to kind of make sure that for someone that's new to the team or later when you're revisiting the study to be able to look at the plan and what process went through to actually come up with the study as it was designed. And we would say that in a lot of cases, a common pain point that we've seen is that the studies are archived, they're never reused. It's really difficult to say, okay, like I want to understand, why my churn is high, right? If that's a business topic, it's hard for you to go back and reference all those studies that touched on the same topic to be able to actually, build on those insights and have it compound. It's mostly just a snapshot and you can save it so that people can look at it later, but it doesn't really build. And obviously, the set of work scales linearly with the number of studies, and the researcher really needs to focus. And I'm also going to broaden it so that it's designers or PMs as well if they're running their own kind of mini research projects because we've seen that a lot. But the execution is cumbersome. Well, with this workflow that I'm about to show you guys and the introduction of these expanded capabilities within our MCP, you can keep one context window across all 6 stages. It can be basically a single session and a single handoff to the agent, and then they're able to handle many of these workflows for you as you kind of think about executing the research project and on a step-by-step basis. So this hopefully unlocks more time, for you to focus on what's important on the analysis and the synthesis and all of the steps that are required for you to put in manually. Hopefully, get mitigated and it frees you to run more research, one, and then two, collect higher quality data from your research projects with the help of agents. So what I'm going to demonstrate today is the expanded capabilities through our MCP that allows this. So before in the prior webinars, we demonstrated a lot of synthesis capabilities, right? How do you come up with themes? How do you like analyze, find quotes, and specific videos related with participants and put all that data together? We've expanded to include creation workflows as well. So you can start asking questions. Hey, like I want to understand about this particular topic. Like, can we start putting together a study plan? The AI, in this case, I'm going to show Claude because that's what we're connected to right now with through our MCP. Like how you can come up with a plan, create the study, set all the filters, and then actually publish that study, and then move on to the second piece of this, which is panel and scheduling. How do you invite participants? How do you actually, describe a persona and have the AI actually, come up with the demographic filter as well as the screening questions to let you find the right participants, and then also move on to the repository and analysis piece as well. So again, 4 different pieces today that we'll walk through. One is plan, create, edit. How do you plan research, create the project, and then edit with the help of the agent? 2, reference past work. Like as you're planning through the research, how do you reference historical projects? How do you let AI, kind of, how do you inform the AI on some of the prior, projects that you've done so that you can maybe, build on top of those insights and themes that you're able to discover through your prior research. And then 3, the mechanics of participant recruitment, how this works, like how it's displayed when you're using an AI to kind of help you with this. And then the analysis and synthesis part as well. I know some of what's contained in 4 we did cover in prior webinars, but just as a refresher and to be able to demonstrate the full end-to-end workflow, decided to put this in as well. So yeah, the first step is plan, create, edit. I'm going to showcase this live, and it's actually a real example of a research project that we're trying to run at the moment within Hubble. So you can describe a goal, and you can be as high level as possible, and the AI is going to chat with you and try to extract more information so that it can put together a robust study plan. But you type the request and then you can go through the process of actually coming up with a study plan. And that study plan will get synced to Hubble so that later on, when you open the project or need to revisit the project, you can view the plan as a document that was generated with the help of AI. And just for context, like what happens when you're trying to kind of come up with the study and do the plan process through the MCP is that these tools get called. These are the tools available for ChatGPT, Claude, any type of AI that you want to use. This is what gets exposed through our Hubble MCP so that you can basically operate all these workflows, from your favorite LLM platform. So the plan is what's important. That gives context. It helps AI kind of understand what you're trying to do and then iterate. And then that document also helps later when you're running the synthesis because it can feed as context into all the analysis workflows as well. So let's try this. I'm going to open my Claude. So this is connected right now and it's synced to my workspace. So just to kind of clarify also, this is my workspace, but I'm going to kind of demonstrate how, as I'm working with the agents, like changes will happen within the product directly as well. So let's actually go through this example. So I want to run a new research study to understand how UX researchers are using agents when they run thematic analysis. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to just put it into Claude and let's see what happens. Run a new Hubble study to understand how UX researchers are using agents. Yeah, so I'm going to put it in, send the message. And by the way, I know I didn't go through like the step by step of like teaching you how to configure Claude and how to set up the connector and the MCP. There's some resources that we have on that regard. So if you want to message me later or if you need help from our team, just let me know. I'm happy to send that over. But I'm going to start here just so that we can save some time. Okay. I framed the research questions here. When an agent enters the analysis today, like what they hand off versus keep manual, how they check the agent's themes are real. So yeah, this is like basically like what Claude responded to me. So a few decisions before I created in Hubble. So what segments do you want this? What kinds of participants do you want? And because that information is required for you to have it in the study plan. Okay, I'm going to focus on enterprise in-house UXR. And then method, I want to run, moderated 45-minute interviews. Let's do that. And then what decision should this feed? I want to just, like our analysis and repository roadmap. Like what features do we need to add onto a repository for us to be helpful in that regard? So let's kind of have that as a goal. And then it's going to basically go through the process. Yeah, so here you can see what tools it's calling, and then everything, the calendar grants, the create study flow, all that stuff is going to be available through the AI. So you can see here that you can put this in and do other stuff and come back, and the AI is going to kind of have everything set up for you. And as I described, the first thing that it'll do before actually publishing or finalizing the study is documenting the study plan. That become the Rosetta Stone. It's basically the document where you can say, okay, this actually makes sense. Let's actually execute this as the AI has planned, and just so you can make sure that you're comfortable with the target participants that you're going through, the methodology, the discussion guide. I'm going to show you what it comes up with after it's done with this process. But yeah, this step is important. And as I said, just feel free to stop me if you guys have any questions. I think Q&A is enabled within the webinar. So, okay, study is created and plan is written. Agent-assisted analysis, UXR discovery interviews, moderated 45 minutes. The plan shape goal: when the agent enters the analysis workflow, while researchers refuse to hand over, how they verify output and makes them abandon it. And target participants, discussion guide. So it put together the research plan in within a minute. So let's go and see what it has created. So if I go to draft mode and I get rid of this filter, I'm going to see, yeah, so this was created a few seconds ago through the MCP. So if I open this agent-assisted analysis, this is exactly the project that I was, massaging through the MCP. And if I go to the plan tab here, this is the document that was written by the AI. Agent-assisted analysis, research goal: understand how enterprise in-house UX researchers are using AI agents. Why now? Analysis is the least automated and most hated part of the research cycle. Target participants, research questions. So here, let's actually edit some of this stuff. I'm gonna ask, hey, can you show me, the discussion guide that you wrote, for this study plan? I'd like to see what edits we can make. So the question in the discussion guide is probably the most important thing that'll get kind of iterated, and you need to kind of make sure you get stakeholder input on when you're running an interview. So warm up, role, team structure, what kind of research you run most, and then here's the entire. Basically, just pull this info, right? The warm up, walk through a recent study, like all this process. So I want to basically add some stuff here and be like, okay. Um, can you also add in a question to understand how trusted AI agents are within the study analysis process? So let's add that as a request. I want to understand, like, a big topic, within research is trust, right? Can you trust what AI is giving you? How do you check if it's hallucinating or not? Is this real? Is this actually verifiable? Is it validated? I think those are questions that most of you guys would probably be thinking about. So I'm going to add a section to be able to validate that. How do people feel about results, workflows that agents are bringing into the synthesis and analysis workflows? So it's running the update, and it's going to show me what kind of differential or like what change it has created. Um, and yeah, like these are the things that you can continue to iterate on. So right now, I'm obviously editing the study plan. But I'm going to actually show how we can edit filters for the actual study as well. So I added three questions at the top of the trust and verification block. Think about the last set of themes or codes an agent gave you. Roughly what share of them made it into your readout? Does that share change depending on what the study's for? If a colleague told you their findings were agent generated, what's your reaction? So these are good questions, right? And you can decide to keep them, but if you don't like them, right, you can go back to the plan, and you can see in the trust and verification section, these things are synced. So everything is auto sync. Like you don't have to copy paste. It just lives in this platform, and then you can just get rid of it if you like. You can edit it. It's this is your document ideally, and then it just the AI just helps you kind of get started. And then, so yeah, so you guys kind of understand that this kind of, as you converse with the agent, you can, continue to improve and really sharpen the study guide and the study plan as you see fit. Okay, now let's move on. Okay, I like to actually to set some availabilities for my interviews. Right, so you can say that, and then it's going to move on to the actual study editing process. Okay. Yeah, the other study already holds Tuesday. So this is also the cool thing. Like the agent knows my schedule and what studies I have published and added. So I can, and then it has options, right? You can do specific dated slots. You can do recurring weekly windows. And I'm just going to be like, you know what? I want you to pick. Okay, there's a question here. What happens when your research plans are scattered across different platforms, Notebook, Lab, Loop Panel, and SharePoint folders? So that's the thing, Fatih. Thanks for joining, by the way. We let you again. Hopefully, the MCP and like kind of like getting integrated in this way makes it easier for you to kind of keep everything together at a single spot. But those tools that you just mentioned have MCP integrations as well. So what we've seen people do, especially with Notebook LM, is you can integrate Notebook LM, and when you create a new Hubble study, you can say, "Hey, I have this plan. I have this study that I want to build. Please let's start writing the study plan." And you can say, "Okay, by the way, that study plan that I wrote for my interview a month ago, just pull that in. Like I want to reference that and then start building on that same study plan." That is totally feasible. So I would encourage you to use that sort of capability, or if not, this feature, the plan feature that we have, offers importing, so that you can, if you have documents or if you have a Google Drive, if you have things that are like in your computer, you can just import it in directly. And this study plan can get the MCP offers reading as well, so the agent can pull the study plan after you make edits to it, as opposed to writing it from scratch and then syncing, as I just demonstrated through this demo. So again, like the cool thing about this is like you can be as tool agnostic as possible and have the agent really retain the context across tools. And obviously, Our preference is for us to kind of provide everything that's needed so that you can keep all your context within Hubble. But I think everything that you're describing, should work using. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so let's continue with this. Okay, let's do recurring weekly windows. I'm gonna do maybe Wednesdays and Thursday afternoons, 3 p.m. Eastern, and I want to do maybe one per day because I have other interviews too. So I set that up. The AI will now add this to the specs of the moderated project. Um, yeah, so updating moderated settings, right? So update moderated settings. And sometimes when you're running this for the first time, Claude does ask for permissions, like for the tools. So you just have to let it, allow it. If you don't want to do it one at a time, you can do that. You can do always allow so that next time you're running the study like that, you don't have to repeatedly just allow the tool access. So here, availability setup tab. So you can click on this setup tab, and then it links to the project like this. It links to the project. You're going to be able to see that if you click on availabilities, everything is set up now. So that recurring time slots Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m., 3:45 p.m. It's set up that way. So again, you can change the setup. If you want to add more, moderators, if you want to change the time length, like all that stuff is possible using the MCP. Just keep in mind, after you publish a study, there are variables that you can change. For instance, like we don't allow for changing the length of the study after it's been published and you've invited participants because it messes up with the incentive. People sign up because they think they're going to get paid, $100, and if you change the length, it auto scales down the incentive and it kind of creates issues. So we don't allow that. So again, just keep in mind that's one of the things that you need to be careful about. But otherwise, everything that you can do within the tool is exposed through the MCP so that the agent can do everything for you. Let's try to make some other edits too. So like let's try to, for instance, like reduce the number. Maybe let's take a look here and then just close this out. And then details. Yeah, that's the goal. Maybe, yeah, let's try to now like change. Okay. How many participants did I say I wanted to recruit? I want to ask, like, because I forgot what the total number, like the N number was that I wanted to recruit through the session. I didn't specify that. Okay, target 10 to 12. So let's put in our study plan. I want, to start with 5 participants. And then it's going to read that and put it in. Okay, so you should try to make as many edits as possible. As I mentioned, it's fully supported. All the fields that you see on our UI is going to be compatible with the MCP. The next thing that I want to do, the next step here is before I publish this, I actually want to make sure. Okay, like are there any other studies that have been done on this topic in the past? Or is there any insight or is there any interesting question that I should be asking based on the research that others have run on this topic? So I'm going to walk through that process after this. So, okay, plan updated to 5 credits, 30 credits. Okay, so everything here makes sense, right? It's just flowing through. Okay, now let's see. Okay, before publishing, can you check our internal studies and see if there are any related studies associated with this topic? Um, the easiness of just being able to reference your repository and your historical studies, your historical interviews, historical participant is totally put on a new level because as you're planning, you're able to talk to the AI, and the AI is able to pull through all the MCP capabilities that we provide. Okay, found 195 studies that we run. Let me look at the ones that actually overlap. I think we could have made this a little bit easier. Oh, okay. Yeah, so like Gilad, thank you for joining. There are some, ballpark. I mean, this all depends on how much you query, how much you edit, because it's obviously tokens that you spend through Cloud. But For a regular moderated study like this one that I'm kind of walking through is minimal. You're gonna not spend like not drain like your entire token balance using actions like this because it's not like super like highly intensive, I would say. On the synthesis side, depending on the number of transcripts, recordings, like that does kind of scale up depending on that. But after the session, I'm happy to kind of give you a ballpark of like, what things look like depending on the number of participants, the types of studies, and how robust your study plans are. Yeah. And Fatih, just to answer your question, like if you have these multiple tools connected, like, let's say you have a notebook LM, connection through Claude, and then you have a Hubble connector, you should be able to run queries that are able to invoke both of those tools simultaneously. So again, I don't have that prepared on this webinar, but I'm happy to kind of set up a demo and like, see how we've done it with like, Hubble studies with, a condense repository or whatever, and just kind of like see how that works. So yeah, just to go back to the actual results here. So directly overlapping. Okay, boom, there's gold here. We found a research that is very connected, right? This is the closest agentic workflows in UX, right? Moderated 5 sessions, live since July 9th. This is the closest. 2 of the 5 sessions are essentially an interview just wrote. One participant walked through uploading the transcripts to Claude after each session, got checking her own emerging trends. So this is super interesting. Okay, this interview is really connected to the things that I wanted to learn through this study. Looking at the theme, what were some of the themes that we were able to find, through what's the name of the study again? Internal user research, agentic workflows in UX. Through Okay, so let's ask that. So before I proceed launching with this, I want to see if I'm doing any repeated work, if I'm, doing things that are, kind of repeating. So let's look at the themes and see whether there's anything that we should kind of double down on. Okay, 8 themes exist on that study. The 2 are scaffolding and one looks like a test artifact. Okay, so substantive ones, AI tools and enhance research workflows and efficacy. 10 notes, the largest real theme. Organizations are actively buying and encouraging experimentation with AI platforms. Automated, okay, so that's a pretty well-known fact. I feel pretty comfortable with that. AI tools are explored for efficiency and research tasks. Moderated testing is preferred for new features and in-depth research. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so all this is cool. So based on this, you know what? Let's actually see. A question that I have is, okay, can we add into the study plan if any agentic products or workflows are getting used to facilitate moderated studies? It's pretty clear here in the themes. It says moderated testing is preferred as deeper research and is more fundamental as the main kind of methodology for many researchers. So let's ask what agentic products and workflows are getting used to facilitate moderated products. So let's add that, and then we'll update the study plan. It's going to kind of fall through the study plan document as we discussed. Okay. Let's see. And then after that, we'll publish this study and then let's proceed with the recruitment, which is step 3. So referencing past work, this is what I just demonstrated. Hopefully that's pretty clear to you guys. At any moment, as you're planning the research, as you're building new studies, you're able to reference past work and use that as context as you're thinking about the future. We just did this, pull insights from related studies. So I'm going to proceed with step 3 now, launching the recruitment after this study plan update is finalized. Okay. And yeah, and one thing that I wanted to kind of clarify, Gilad, is we also have an option for us to use an internal agent. And so this is obviously going to be your tokens because it's connected through the MCP and it's kind of you're using your own balance to be able to run these actions. But there's also an option for us to offer, an internal agent within the product. I'm going to save that for a next session because, that's a whole different topic that I want to walk through a follow-up webinar. But this is today I'm going to focus on this. So, okay, added updated plan, research question 8. I added this, what agentic products are using for moderated studies, because that's something that we're able to unlock through the prior interviews. So all that stuff is in here. And then now let's publish the study. Okay, I feel good with this. And then if you just want to kind of check, like, is there anything like missing or anything I want to add, you can just always go back to the product, right? So the title, the description, the calendar. Oh, shoot, it's actually Google Meet, and I don't want to use Google Meet. I want to use Zoom. Uh, so let's change that. One change is I want to, use Zoom instead of Google Meet. Okay, so it's going to do that. Maybe for this one, it's going to be just easier for me to not spend the tokens and just do it myself. But again, just to kind of, the purpose of this is to show how robust the MCP is. So, yeah, done. Okay, quickly. If you go to the SAP tab, it changed. Nice. So, okay, I'm going to publish this study now. Publish this study. I think it's ready. So now it's going to go live, and then we'll proceed with step 3, which is to find the participants. And again, the thing that I want to show with the participants is you can be as generic or high level as possible, and the AI is going to ask you questions to kind of like drill down on like what kind of persona you need. So let's go back to the product just to kind of showcase this. But now, before it was showing a publish button. Now this is live. So if you go to your home screen, and then let me just filter this through internal research. This what we just wrote is going to be. Actually, sorry, this does not have internal research, so no category. Yeah, so this is the one that's live, and that this it's been published, and you're able to recruit participants for it. Okay, now let's proceed with the recruitment. I want to get some participants for this interview. All right. And so it's going to continue, and you'll see, as I said, the annoying thing about recruitment is, you obviously there's templates, and we support like saving screener questions and things like that. But the AI can help you do that very quickly by just looking at the study plan, making sure that the personas that you specified in the study plan match whatever is requesting. And so, yeah, you'll see here that it's using the recruitment draft tool and going through that process. And yeah, it's setting the screener questions. Again, everything was kind of set in that study plan, but again, like this doesn't have to publish immediately. You can always go back and check the recruitment form before it's submitted. And we actually encourage that because this is what requires credits, right? You're going to pay incentives and credits as you recruit the participants. So this is something that you should keep in mind that after you launch the recruitment and those participants get invited, it does kind of use the credits, the participant credits. Here, draft is built and passing validation. And this is all stuff that I specified. Okay, so what's the screener? Which best describes your role? Hands-on UXR. So it's qualified when you say you're a UXR. Design PM X, and then company size. We want to look enterprise, mid-market, so 1,000 plus. Within 3 months. Last personally ran and analyzed a qual study within 3 months, using LLMs regularly. Yeah, that's great. So everything is set up here. So let me just to make sure, I want to go back. If I go to the share tab for this study, I'm going to be able to open the recruitment, and everything that the AI wrote for me is going to be living here. Agent assisted analysis, UX research, running analysis, qualitative studies, 45-minute chat, moderated. Everything makes sense. If I go to requirements 5, B2B, and demographics, US, industry, computer software, IT, company size, it has the filters added, right? It's 3, as we specified here. And then user researcher, user research, and then screening questions. Okay, cool. What best? Everything is synced here. So Let's actually add one more screener. I want to only accept researchers that have used Notebook LM for their analysis. Okay, and let's see how that's processed. This is an improv because I know Fatih asked the question on the Notebook LM and loop panel. I just wanted to see how this does. So set screener questions, and then let's see how it come up with the mechanic. Yes, Donald. So again, we're gonna publish a blog post on this, but your MCP capabilities inherit your seats your seats authorization. So if you're a viewer, and if you invite stakeholders and people that are not researchers, like they're not going to be able to create, plan, and recruit and do all the jazz that I'm demonstrating here. You need to be an editor. The basically the tool calls and the read write capabilities inherit what you can do within the app with your auth when you connect with the MCP. So you shouldn't be worried about uh, preventing people, worried about people not doing, what they're supposed to do through the MCP. Does that make sense? Did I answer my question? And Alexandra, yes, I'm going to share the video as well as the presentation. And this is only the first series. There's a lot more that I'm going to cover, like, building a prototype test, setting up a schedule so that you can run automated prototype tests and usability tests on your websites or your prototype tests using Claude as I just demonstrated. There's a lot that we're going to do. So yeah, just keep we'll keep you posted. All right, so this it seems like the screener question was added. So let's see what it added here in the bottom. Okay, so which of the following have you personally used as part of analyzing the qualitative research? Yeah, Notebook LM. Yes, you must select this, otherwise you're disqualified. So it did exactly what I wanted it to do. And another thing is it added all these other tools. Like, why not ask about other tools that people are using? So Copilot, Gemini, AI features, Otter, blah, blah, blah. And, it added all these extra things too, so that we can understand what types of other tools people are using. Okay, now let's launch this recruitment. Okay, I'm good with this. Let's proceed with the recruitment. With the recruitment. And boom, it's going to launch the project. Publish recruitment is the tool. Did I answer all the questions? Yeah. Yeah, and Donald, just to kind of clarify, if you're not an editor, you're not going to be able to create anything, even drafts. So we can try to customize so that the publish rights are reserved only for like super editors or something, but it will require some customization to your workspace. I know we're kind of talking about this right now, so we can yeah, we can circle back, but yeah, if that answers your question. Yes, you are a qualified participant for my study, Fatih. So if you want, yeah, I'll just send you the link so that we don't have to pay pay the processing fees or whatever. Anyhow, this is what's very meta. I'm talking to researchers, and the research is about research, right? Okay, so this should be published now. Um, drop the cool tool question. Okay, so there seems to be a publish fail. Okay, vendor create, bad. So let's look at what's missing. I think everything is set up there. Um, and maybe like one of the fields missing or something on the screener questions. Oh, option. Okay, I see. So I can do this as may select next. Okay. Because I added the screener question, I'm sure there's a field missing, but I'm just going to try to launch it here. That did, basically set up the form for me. Okay, so it created the recruitment. And let's see. Oh, is it the company size field? One second. I think there's one thing that yeah, this is something that I guess got unselected. So let's try submitting again. Yeah, now it should work. I think this is, yeah, I think this is causing the issue. Let me kind of revert back and just adjust that. But you guys get the idea. The recruitment form should be published, and then you're able to invite the participants as you see fit. One kind of enhancement that we're going to continue to add is basically add like a monitor mode so that if you specify what goals you have or what types of participants you want to kind of build within the response pool, we have auto invite right now, so that the AI can see, okay, like I want at least two people that have used Notebook LM, another two that have used Copilot, and then just like keep a balance as it's kind of like getting the distributions from the participants. So that's going to be available. But obviously, like even if I launch this, within this webinar, I'm not going to be able to, get the participants to like do the interview right away. So we'll skip to part four now, which is the analysis. So for this one, I'm gonna just go through a study that has been complete, and just so that I can see, show you what happens after the interview happens and the recordings get booked. But yeah, so we can maybe proceed with that process. That's okay. So, okay, now let's proceed with doing some analysis. So the screening process is connected with LinkedIn. Sorry, sorry, I'm getting thrown off. It's through respondent. So what I just demonstrated is recruiting through respondents pool, which is integrated with our product. One thing on the roadmap that we have right now is to be able to build your own pool within Hubble. So if you have your analytics platform, or if you have your CRM, you should be able to integrate it, and then within the permissions that you provide, come up with internal people that you can invite using this exact workflow as well. We don't offer a LinkedIn recruitment. I think that's something that would require a little bit of work, but for now, what I demonstrated is integrating with participant pools, basically. Okay, so let's actually go through the analysis. So I'm going to do this one. So internal user research, agentic workflows. Doing some analysis on this one, internal user research, agentic workflows. And then the thing I want to learn is this: go through every recording, pull the moments where people describe how they use AI in the research analysis, group them into themes, and write it up. Okay, so let's run this, see how it does. So again, as you're planning, creating, recruiting, you're able to also proceed to the next part, which is the post processing. And but the nice thing is that all that process, all the step by step, is kept within one context, so that you can see how the study was created, how it was planned, which participants were recruited, and then also the synthesis and the reporting can all be done through here. And then also one difference that we offer is that everything is synced with Hubble. So if you generate a report, or if you generate an output, or you start writing themes, it will sync with Hubble so that later, you want to kind of find this particular instance, or you want to, kind of recall this study. You don't have to go to the chat session within Claude or ChatGPT. You can just go to the project folder within Hubble, and everything is going to be synced there, which is obviously helpful, because one of the problems that I've been having with Claude is I do all like everything is a new chat, right? It's kind of a new tab within Chrome. So I just open a new tab, a new chat for everything, and then it's all mixed. But what we do is we kind of let you connect all that stuff into project hierarchy, so that if you want to go back to a particular project, everything that you did through Claude or through the agent will be available. So you can take a look here. All right, so I was able to do this. So this interview is not available. Okay, one recording is in a participant interview. Okay, so first pass coding and affinity mapping have already been handed over completely. This is the strongest and most consistent signal. Consolidates every participant answer on their each question, hands the whole thing to AI, and takes back the themes, replacing what she describes as 3 years of work. Nothing ships unchecked. The checking pattern is embedded from what you'd expect. Um, so basically, you're able to come up with synthesis. You're able to go back, visit the recordings. You can tell the AI, "Hey, look at all the transcripts in this project and give me some themes." Um, can you create simple outputs with these themes so that I can share it with my PM? Um, yeah. So let's see how it does this, how it organizes the themes. And actually, as it's organizing the themes, I'm gonna ask it to like include links to the video clips as well. So let's see how it does that. Okay, PM shareable summary of the agentic workflow study findings. Uh, did I answer your questions, Fatih? Okay, I think we're kind of getting close to the end of the time allotted, but I'll just continue for a couple of minutes. If you guys need to drop, that's totally fine as well. But yeah, so this is the output that I was able to create. If I open this, or here's the previous here on the right. So how UX researchers use AI in analysis, 4 participant interviews, and then 7 themes. First pass coding is already gone. Researchers have added initial coding, blah, blah, blah. Nothing ships unchecked. So all this is done. So now I can tell it, okay, can you actually format this more visually and come up with and include some key participant quotes as and links to the videos. So I'm going to just enhance this report and just with the evidence. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Fatih. So, okay, so I'm going to do an HTML output. It supports slides, it supports Google Doc. You can also, if you have the Notion tool integrated, you can put this output into Notion as well. Or even if you want to, you can just push the report to Hubble, then publish it to Notion. There's different ways to export reports like this very easily. But just to kind of show you some of the pretty things that can be done here, I'm going to create an HTML output and then also enrich the themes with real evidence that people can point to. Architecturing transcript style artifacts. Okay. So yeah, for some of these tasks, it does require more tokens, like HTML creation and like design outputs, but again, on a case by case basis, depending on what you need and how heavy the output is, you should kind of think about that before you run these workflows. Okay. Yeah, participant quotes and the recording links. That part is what I added onto the request. So let's see how well it does on that regard. Okay. Yeah, and just kind of as a preview, we will do a couple of more sessions on. I know we covered moderated today, which is obviously very important for many of you. But unmoderated is going to be another thing. We recently shipped a way to test vibe coded apps effectively, and that is also fully supported through this kind of workflow. Study plan, include the link to the vibe coded prototype, and then create the study, recruit the participants, and run it. automatically, is a workflow that we want to showcase. So that's kind of upcoming as one of our next topics in the webinar. And then also, oh yeah, there you go. So okay, stay tuned for that, and then also some real world examples. I know we talked about our own research here in this example, but other real cases where this has been applied and been successful is what I wanna walk through as well. So download. I'm gonna the HTML output. I'm gonna download. So how UX researchers actually use AI analysis. So here we have the quotes, what evidence-based actually is, read the findings as directional, blah, 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 first pass coding. So here, yeah, there's the names of the participants, and then you can click on the link, and then it's going to redirect you to the videos. This is awesome. Yeah, you can see the videos, the notes, everything is linked so that you can revisit the conversations if you like. Yeah, they purchase a lot of AI, different platforms to experiment with. So I'm going to click on this, goes exactly to that moment, and you're able to kind of play that. So yeah, the AI was able to come up with this very quickly. Obviously, there are some customizations that you can do. Like if you want to feed your own design system. Yeah, Lisa, we are working on a really full-blown guide on how to do these things that I just demonstrated to you, and then how to start using agents within your workflow. I know for many of you this is new, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, we have direct communication with our research management team like Jen and then also me. So yeah, feel free to ping us, and then we're more than happy to help. Um, yeah. Does that answer your question? And I think that's kind of what I have prepared for today. There's more slides here, but basically the conclusion is that, this entire workflow that we just talked about, planning, building, recruiting, fielding, analyzing, synthesizing, everything is possible with the help of agents now, at least if you are using Hubble. So, and I think we're one of the first in the industry to kind of bring forth this full create, build, analyze workflow with all the different task types we support, like moderated, unmoderated, AI moderated, everything. So it's really powerful. Try it today on your own workspace. You should have access to this. If you don't know how to connect the MCP, just ask us, talk to us, send us an email, or if you have a Slack connection with us, just message us there and we're more than happy to help you get set up. But basically, this will really, hopefully, increase the productivity of the team while giving you the control to use agents to reduce the amount of manual work and planning execution process for your projects. And yeah, hopefully, we can see you next time with more topics around how to use agents and really enhancing the research workflows that you have in place with your team. I'm going to stay on for one more minute just to answer any other questions. But was this helpful? Do you guys find this helpful? What I just walked you guys through. I still have a couple of people on. It seems like, yeah. Thank you, Fatih. Appreciate you joining. Good to see you always. And yes, you're a qualified participant, so I want to send you an invitation to join the project. Yes. But also, if you have team members, like I really think, and I know many of you are researchers here, the power of this is that your stakeholders, your PMs and your designers, can get access to your research insights. And to answer Donald's question from before, they're not going to be able to create and do all the right stuff that I'm doing right now. That's reserved for you. But imagine a world where you run your research and then everybody within the team can just put in a request. Hey, like what did Lisa run that other month to be able to understand why our customers are using Notebook LM? Boom, it's there. And then they can see the themes, they can see the transcripts, they can ask the AI to process. It's just a different mode of operating and making sure that the research insights can get accessible and utilized by the team. So super excited about this, and we're going to continue to make this, one of the leading differentiating capabilities for Hubble. So, all right, I think that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining, and yeah, see you next time. Thank you, everyone. Bye.